What is up, everybody? Here we are. It's our very first live on YouTube. This is Ghosted, a paranormal podcast. I'm your host, Jake Thomas. With me, Colton Spinks, as always. Colton, man, this is great. I'm glad to be. We're finally on YouTube. It's gonna be fun tonight. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling pretty good. Never done this before, so it's a first, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, you're probably gonna be camera shy, the first couple of times, but that is fine. I've been my very first time I got on YouTube, I was kind of camera shy too, but you'll get used to it, and eventually you're gonna be on here, and you're just gonna be just let it all go, and you're not even gonna think about it anymore. So I'm excited. You're excited. Let's get to it, brother. Tonight we talked about what we're going to, we discussed today about what we're going to talk about, and let's really, we're just going to go back to our very first episode on Spotify that we put out, and that was just talking about us, about what we do, why we're doing it, why we got into the paranormal field, and started investigating it. So, you want to go ahead and give your story, Colton, and then I give mine, and we'll just feed off each other, and we'll see how this goes.
Alrighty, sounds good. So, I guess the history of how I got started in this, thinking back years and years ago, I just would ask people if they had ever saw a ghost, and just it's kind of how it started. Just wanting to know some ghost stories. I had the curiosity to figure out what was going on, I guess. So I can remember asking people that back in high school during that time. And then from there, it just spiraled into everything paranormal and spiritual for that matter. There was a time where I got on the topic of Bigfoot and I got pretty obsessed with that. Uh, I mean, it was crazy. And I was on that for years. And yeah, very complicated. A lot of stuff in this topic, and now I'm just as curious about it as I was back then, and just trying to figure it out. And I think I got some of it figured out. Me and Jake put our heads together, and I think we got some things figured out, but other things we're still trying to understand. It's very complicated, and that's just kind of how I got started. Just sheer curiosity, uh, out of nowhere. I don't know. That's just kind of how it started, Jake.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that's how mine started out. It's kind of curiosity. Before we go any further, I just want to say, you know, if you have tuned in to us and listened to us on Spotify, you kind of know how we work. Um, we actually bring evidence and research behind everything that we bring you. Colton, like he just mentioned Bigfoot. He has studied Bigfoot. I mean, done everything there's known to about Bigfoot. He knows about it, and he'll tell you anything you need to know about it. I've been into the investigation side of it. I've done investigations, and more in the spiritual and ghost world. Um, and we're wanting to get in more of the UFOs, the dogmen, but also stay within ourselves and everything else. But we also hit everything that concerns the paranormal. It's not just one topic. A lot of these shows just hit the one topic, whether it's ghosts and spirits. Maybe you have a show just about Bigfoot or just about UFOs. We hit it all here. So this is what we're doing. The paranormal spectrum is huge. Colton, you know that it's massive. We're going to talk about all of it. And that's what makes us unique from others out there. So that's why I hope you give us a shot and give us a chance, help us grow, because I don't think you have the type of experience and the type of knowledge that we have, that other shows are putting out there, and especially they don't cover the broad topics like we do.
Yeah, I think you said that pretty well, Jake. Uh, yeah, we're just still trying to learn too. Always after some more knowledge.
Hmm.
There's a lot more we have to study up on, and maybe we can learn from some people that will listen to this and get some insight from them. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And eventually, hopefully, as this channel grows, we'll get more people in the lives and all that. I just want to go live tonight. Hopefully, we'll get a couple people in starting out, but it's going to take a little while to grow this. But we're dedicated. We're going to grow this. We want to be your one-stop shop when it comes to paranormal, and we're going to do anything we can to help you out and all that. So Colton, really one of my fascinating stories, the reason why I got into the paranormal, at a very young age, I experienced something that was just kind of like, did I really just see that, and it just, I wasn't scared. I mean, I was young, I was probably 10 or 12 years old. I wasn't scared. I was more curious than anything. I was like, okay, I just saw that, but now it's gone, and it was just like a blink of an eye. I'm like, what happened? What just happened? And so my curiosity, like you said, got piqued, and I started doing more research, and I was like, okay, so there's these beings out here, these things called ghosts or spirits that are roaming the earth, and then I just kept doing the research, and then eventually, when I got into school, high school, a buddy of mine approached me, and he said, "Hey, do you watch a certain show called Ghost Hunters?" And I said, "Yeah, I love Ghost Hunters. I watch it every Wednesday night." He said, "I did too. I didn't know you was involved in that." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm really into it." And I said, "I'm really thinking about starting a group of my own." And he said, "Yeah, let's do that." So we did. It was called BBGHA, Ghost Bama Brothers Ghost Hunting Agency, and we had that group for years, and now it's gone by the wayside. I got married, and tried to start another one. It kind of fell through. I did some investigations with that old group, and I did several with Bama Brothers, but then leads me to present day. And Colton, me and you work together, everybody knows, and it was just funny how it happened. It was just like, we're just talking. You mentioned about the paranormal and all that, and I was like, wait, I'm involved in that too. I'm really curious about it, and we just put our minds together. And it's like, I want to talk about this more. I have a lot of knowledge. This is you telling me, so I have a lot of knowledge. I want to get out there and speak. I said, let's do a podcast about it, and we agreed. But not only do we do it in the podcast, we also have a group as well, the API, Alabama Paranormal Investigators. So hopefully, this will lead more to the investigation side of things. So, that's really just a quick, how I got to where I'm at today and all that. So, yeah, Colton, I will tell everybody this: one of your most prized possessions is the Book of Enoch. I'm sure.
Yeah, that book sure is interesting. I know it is controversial, but
Mhm.
it provides a lot of talking points, I
It
believe.
does.
I mean,
Gosh.
it talks about the origins of evil, the
Mhm.
how the fallen angels and the Nephilim, all that story. So we've talked a lot about it, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's I think it ties into a lot of everything else.
Right.
So that's what's so interesting about it. But yeah, we also talk a lot about things in the Bible,
Yep.
and I mean, what better place to get information? I mean, there is information about some interesting paranormal things, like we talk about angels, we talk about demons, and
Mhm.
things like that. So we definitely have learned a lot doing this, and that's super exciting. Uh, a lot of current events have taken place since we started this podcast,
Yeah.
and I wasn't expecting that. So we
It's eye
for
opening.
yeah,
Yeah.
for a while we was like back to back, just current events happening,
Hmm.
and a lot of that is involved in UFOs and what people call aliens, and a lot is happening right now. I think probably more so now than ever. Mainstream things on the news, which we don't trust them,
No.
but it's just weird. Why is this on the news?
Hmm.
uh, and then some things are they try to hide.
Mhm.
So it's blowing my mind for sure. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we move on to those current events that you just mentioned, I want to take a step back and mention something that I forgot to mention at the start. We also bring in our beliefs as Christians, and we may get ostracized for that, but we as Christians know there's demons out there. That is in the Bible. That is, they are the root of all evil, and so they are paranormal. And Colton believes that every spirit, let's just say quote spirit out there, and every ghost per se is connected to a demon or is a demon. And this is where we kind of have our differences, because I've seen the ghost and all that, and I haven't really felt threatened, but I'm also open to believing that, hey, there is a potential that they could be. And so me and Colton may disagree on a few things, but we both see each other eye to eye. We both see each other's side of things. And that's the key in this. I've talked to people who do not believe in anything, and they're just, I call them just sticks in the mud. You've got to open up your mind because they're out there. I've seen way too much in my lifetime, and read and researched too much to not believe that there's something that's walking or floating or whatever, however you want to feel and think it is on this earth, that isn't human, that isn't in a physical form. It's in a demonic or a spiritual form. And I don't know what else to tell you if you don't believe that, because I mean the evidence is all around us.
Yeah, I agree, and that's interesting to talk about people that don't believe. And I understand completely. I understand their way of thinking. I understand their mind. I feel like because it's so easy to say, "Well, I don't believe that exists. I don't see it. I've never experienced it."
Right.
But much of this world does believe that the spiritual world exists. And you want to take it a step further and say that the spiritual world is just living itself out amongst ours, and at times it comes through and they intermingle with each other.
Hmm.
And in the end, our belief is that we will be in heaven, and I mean, it's all spiritual.
Right.
Even our physical world is partially spiritual. Is what I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
So people that don't believe in that, I get it. You know, but I think if you start to think about it long and hard, you'll come out believing that there's definitely something more. And I would say this may be a little harsh, but I would say maybe okay if you don't believe in anything at all, well, start looking into something called the occult.
Yeah.
And, this may be horrible advice, but go ahead and do it. Just do it. And, you'll see very well that these things do exist. And you'll need help after that, probably. But at least you'll be better off than before. So I
Right.
kind of think that could be a solution, but who knows?
Yeah. And one thing that Golden, that you know about me, well, one of my previous investigations, and the top hat man, this is a demon who is very, very powerful. And I actually went up against him at a home in an investigation. You actually saw the picture that we got, and you actually enhanced it, made it look even better than the original picture. And what was so cool about that picture, Colton, is whenever you enhanced it, you got the eyeball. I mean, there's physical forms. You saw the hat. I mean, you could make out the top hat, make out the shoulders. You can see like a nose. But when you enhance that was on the original photo. But when you enhance it, you got the eyeball. There was no doubt in my mind. I'm like, this thing is real. I mean, that was incredible what you did on that.
Yeah, that was really creepy. And
Mhm.
I hope one day we can get it up on this and so everybody can see.
Yeah.
and you could tell the story, and it would be awesome if we get that up somehow.
We
But
get it
yeah,
figured out.
you brought up the top hat, man. So many people have seen that thing, and
Hmm.
I often wonder, is it the same demon, or is it just different ones that appear in the same form?
That's a good question.
I don't know. And shadow people, it's basically the same thing, but at times one has a hat, a top hat.
Hmm.
Others not so much, just a shadow person.
Right.
Oftentimes very tall. I'm talking, 7, 8 foot, extremely tall at times, and solid black, blacker than night, to where it stands out amongst the darkness.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they come to darkness, depression, especially something very evil that was done in a place, a murder, very bad things. They come to it. They flock to it because they're demons, and demons flock to evil,
Right.
and they love it. So that's just how it works. That's
Mhm.
why you go to a place that has had mass murder, take your pick, whatever, horrible things. That's why they can be haunted a lot of the times. It's not always because there are lingering spirits, and this is where it can get really complicated, but it is oftentimes because the demons are attracted to that darkness that took place. And all right, like you said, Jake, you believe that there are lingering spirits and there are demons. And I am, I'm not concrete on this.
Right.
I believe it could be one or the other. I'm not sure yet. And this is not, you know, black and white. Some Catholics believe, Catholic exorcists at that, they believe that there are lingering spirits, a lot of them, and that they need to be prayed for in order to move on. So Christians believe that there are lingering spirits. And then, you know, I don't know. And is it case by case? Some are, some aren't. And we know the story of the Annabelle doll. That's a good
Oh,
example.
yeah.
That thing, it started off simple enough.
Hmm.
Uh, they was talking to this thing, and it was saying it was a deceased, child or something like that. And well, we know how that turned out. Very bad. A lot of
Yeah.
people died in the end. That thing, it's a demon, probably multiple demons. So if something says it's a deceased person from the past and you're communicating with it, well, maybe that's possible, but do you believe it? Demons
Right.
lie. So that's what do we do there, Jake? It's like, do we call its bluff? I don't know.
Yeah. See, we get more questions out of every podcast that we do because we try to answer something, but then we're left with more questions than we get answered. So it's always it's always never ending. It seems like with the paranormal field, you may get some concrete evidence on one thing, but something another door per se opens up, and you're just like, my gosh, So that's the thing. Demons do lie, and I'm glad you brought up the Annabelle doll because you know just your thoughts on it. Why would a spirit or demon be so attached with a children's toy that I know children are the easiest to get to, and I guess that was the reason why they do it. But it's just crazy how these entities can attach themselves to you know physical objects, and it's just amazing how they work.
Right. Cursed objects. And I should
Hmm.
have brushed up on this story. I didn't know he was going to talk about it because I have like a million stories in my head. And, I can't remember the dates and names and things like that of the Annabelle doll. I know Ed and Lorraine Warren
Right.
were the ones that had the doll in the end. They're both passed on now. But cursed objects, yes. So Objects can be cursed intentionally in a occult ritual. Uh, Maybe this is how the Annabelle doll came to be.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure. And there are others like this, just like this doll, cursed dolls, things like that. Uh, People will do these rituals on objects, and this goes back hundreds of years, thousands of years, and it's demons attached to an object. And when you bring that into your home, well, they just don't stay on that object. They can wreak havoc
Yep.
and cause many problems. Uh, it's crazy, and just like objects can be cursed, they can be blessed.
Right.
So we know of holy water. That's the same idea. Typically, a priest will bless water, and it becomes holy water, and they can have a cross that has been blessed, as well as salt and oil. That's just how it goes, and those tools can be used during an exorcism. So if you touch a possessed person with a little bit of holy water, they usually react very violently because it
Yeah.
burns them like fire. So that's pretty cool. So don't forget, there's always usually a light to the dark. You know, that's what it is. It's good versus evil, and you can have blessed objects. So I had to throw that in there because uh, that's just as cool as cursed objects, if not more cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point, Colton. We haven't done an actual full episode on cursed objects and blessed objects, so that might be something we want to look into to doing in the future on our episode. Um, but man, this is there's so much to talk about, especially tonight. We want to get out there. We talked about Bigfoot, we talked about demons, cursed objects, ghosts, spirits. Gosh, we talked about the current events, and it was mainly UFOs. We'll touch on those real quick. I haven't heard much in the way of any kind of updates. I think the last update you gave us was on the Las Vegas one, but you know, we'll touch on this real quick. Every time there's a UFO sighting, a day later, what follows it? Men in Black. And my question to you that I had the other day was like, how did they know exactly who sees these things, and how they know to be at this location at that time? And you made a good point. You said, well, because I think they're all connected. And I was like, that's a good point. So do you think the Men in Black are actually these alien beings as well, or are they part of the government, or do you think the government and these aliens, UFOs, are in cahoots with each other?
Yeah, I've heard stories that could kind of point towards both.
Right.
Some Men in Black stories, people say, well, they weren't really human. They clearly were made to look like humans, but
Hmm.
something ain't right. But I'm more apt to believe they are in cahoots, just all one program, and these Men in Black are, however you want to say it, black budget government program, black budget military. It's a form of power that is beyond what we see in government, beyond what we see in military or private contracting. It's something far worse, far more powerful that is being funded by our tax dollars, and they are working on this, and those are the Men in Black. That's what I believe, and I think they are in cahoots with whatever these beings are. I think that's the case, and that's not even to get into the whole topic of, well, they have the craft. The human beings have this craft. They have reverse engineered it, and they have it, and they fly it themselves. So, you know, that's a reality. But those craft came from somewhere, and it wasn't from humans. It was from something else, and that's those things that people often call gray aliens or whatever. I believe. That's just kind of my 2 cents on that. What the aliens are, or what those beings are, that's the question.
Yeah.
That's the real question. What's their agenda? That's the main thing we need to figure out. And we have ideas, of course. No solid evidence, though. This
Right.
topic is almost as bad as the Bigfoot topic. Probably it could be worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll drive you crazy. The whole ghost and demon thing. I mean, we can wrap our heads around it, but this, it's it's beyond me, really. Just trying to keep up, just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think we'll get it figured out in the end.
Yeah. We always do. We'll eventually get it figured out. Um, it's very interesting on how these things work. And, we've not even talked about but portals, and we feel like they're either going through portals because or unless these crafts that they have, we know they're really high tech that they can go at light, warp speed that we haven't had that technology to do yet. But I really think they're going through portals somewhere and getting from place to place.
Yeah, I think they're using portals as well. And that makes you think, well, what else uses portals?
Hmm.
Paranormal entities. So
Yep.
a demons use portals. This is known. Uh, yeah, are they demons? That's what I think. I'll go ahead and say it. I think they are demons, or in some way, maybe not directly, because what gets fuzzy here with the paranormal is the physicality of certain entities. So when we say paranormal, your mind goes to a spiritual being,
Right.
right? But we know that they can manifest physically. A ghost, a demon. We know they can do this. But when you have something that's standing there that's physical, that when they crash their craft and they're kind of panicking and running around like what happened just recently, that thing is not going back to spirit. It's physical.
Right.
So what does that mean? Is it a body? Is it a shell that is inhabited by a demon?
Mhm.
That's one theory. There was a story, quick story. Somebody was abducted allegedly, and they saw these gray alien bodies stacked like wood in that craft as
Hmm.
their shells. They're
Yeah.
shells that are to be inhabited by a disembodied spirit. So
Interesting.
I don't know, just something to think about. But yeah,
That's interesting.
that's so complicated. The physicality of certain things.
Yeah.
It's is it a spirit? Is it not? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. It truly is. Man, we've hit a lot of topics tonight. I think we've kind of got a groundwork on what people can expect from us moving forward. Talk about demons, talk about ghosts, talk about aliens, UFOs, portals, angels, the Nephilim. I mean, we got an array of things out there that we can talk about. We've already talked about several of them. We'll get more deeper into the discussion, hopefully with you guys in the future. We also hit a few controversial topics, conspiracy type things as well. So we'll talk just a little bit on that. We don't get into the nonsense, conspiracy stuff out there. This is more like maybe it could happen. So that's where we kind of tend on it and lean. But Colton, I think that was a great first episode, honestly, brother.
Yeah, it was fun. My first time doing something like this. It's pretty great.
Yeah, you was not nervous at all. I'm actually, your composure was great throughout the entire thing. I remember my first time was awful, so you did a lot better than I did. So Uh, but it was fun for sure. You got anything else you want to add tonight before we get off here?
No, just that it was fun, and yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, we'll probably do a recording next week to put it out. We'll try to go live as much as we can, but we'll until we get the channel grown a little bit and get some more people subscribed. We'll probably just do some recordings, get out there, build the channel up a little bit, and then we'll go live and things like that. And hopefully you'll have some topics for us. And but it's going if you just keep look at the news or look I don't watch the news, but if you just keep your eyes and ears open, something of the paranormal is in the news or out there pretty much daily right now. Ever since, like Colton mentioned earlier, ever since the government released the stuff about the UFOs. I mean, my gosh, current events on UFOs has been crazy here lately, and aliens. So they're out there. A lot of them get covered up by the media, but there's some that sneak through, and that's the ones that we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So anyway, Colton, we're gonna get off here tonight. Thank listen to us. We replay this back. Listen to us. Subscribe. Share. Smash the like button. Leave us a comment in the in the chat once while you're watching. If you got a question or if you want us to talk about a certain topic that we didn't speak on tonight. If you go back and listen to Spotify and don't see it listed on any of the episodes, we'll be glad to talk about it with you. Thank you all for listening. If you got a paranormal, case or something going on at your house, whether you think you got a Bigfoot or a dog man in your yard, or you're dealing with a demon or a ghost, whatever, you know, find us, talk to us. We'll be glad to help you out in any way we can, free of charge. I'm not going to charge anybody, to get rid of something that they had no control of, over getting in their house. So anyway, thank you, Colton, for coming on tonight. It's been fun. This has been Ghosted, a paranormal podcast with your host, Jay Thomas and Colton Spinks, and we will be back next Thursday night with a recording. So stay tuned for that. Everybody have a good weekend and good night.